After decades of agricultural activity that disrupted the natural water cycle, California's historic Tulare Lake experienced a prolonged dry spell. Once a vast inland sea, it was reduced to a mere shadow of its former self. Yet recently, an enigmatic resurgence has brought the long-dormant lake back to life, rapidly refilling its basin. As the waters inundate lands that have remained parched for nearly a century, something unexpected and alarming has emerged from the depths. This investigation delves into the fascinating process of Tulare Lake's rapid refilling and the potentially terrifying implications it brings. The recent heavy rainfall in California, while bringing relief to many, introduced a new set of challenges. The downpour was expected to raise water levels significantly, but no one foresaw the impending troubles. Although the rain rejuvenated drought-ravaged lands and replenished parched reservoirs, it also created an unexpected dilemma. Some reservoirs, including the once dry Tulare Lake in the San Joaquin Valley, which was once the second-largest freshwater lake in the United States, have reached capacity for the first time in a long while, posing a risk of substantial damage. In a strange twist of events, the lake seems to have reappeared mysteriously due to the recent flooding phenomenon. The sudden reappearance of Tulare Lake took many by surprise, as its expansive waters echoed a bygone era. However, the initial fascination quickly turned into concern as the lake swelled beyond its limits, threatening lives and property. While the return of the lake after years of drought could seem like a positive development, experts now describe this process as an unfolding natural disaster. To understand the current situation, it is important to delve into the historical context of Tulare Lake. Long ago, the lake's basin supported a complex system of wetland habitats that played a pivotal role in the region. Despite the predominantly dry nature of the area, the region served as a floodplain that received water from various sources, including the Sierra Nevada to the west and the Transverse Ranges to the north. The basin, with its shallow water system, once supported unique fish and bird species adapted to this environment. However, in the mid-1800s, the landscape was transformed due to the construction of canals and diversion structures by European settlers, shifting the focus towards agricultural land. As a result, Tulare Lake lost its connection to water sources, leading to its gradual reduction in size. By 1899, less than 50 years after irrigation began, Tulare Lake dried up for the first time in recorded history. Settlers took advantage of the newfound land for farming, and over time, the lakebed was transformed into agricultural terrain. By the 20th century, with the construction of levees and reclamation districts, the role of the lake changed, although it remained historically significant. As a landlocked body of water without a natural outlet to the sea, its waters would instead replenish groundwater reserves and return moisture to the southern Sierra Nevada. Geological evidence suggests that Tulare Lake was once part of a much larger ancient lake that covered a significant portion of California's Central Valley. However, over time, seismic activity and erosion reshaped the landscape, causing the lake to fluctuate between draining and refilling. This intermittent appearance during wet seasons earned Tulare Lake the nickname of a ghost lake. The midpoint of the year brought a series of atmospheric rivers to California, causing substantial rainfall throughout the winter and early spring. With this, the rapid re-emergence of Tulare Lake came at a cost, endangering the lives and livelihoods of its inhabitants. Corcoran, the largest city near the lake with a population of 22,000, felt the initial impact, reporting floods that disrupted routes. Researchers are considering the implications for smaller neighboring cities, particularly in light of the significant impact experienced by Corcoran. Indeed, smaller communities such as Allensworth and Alport faced evacuation orders as they teetered on the edge of being submerged by overflowing rivers. Furthermore, the floods forced local dairies to relocate cattle to safer grounds. The resurgence of Tulare Lake is projected to persist for months, if not years. Its expansive waters now stretch across a vast area of California's Central Valley, presenting a stunning visual spectacle. After more than 3 months since its reappearance, Tulare Lake's transformation is nothing short of remarkable. Beginning as a modest trickle, it quickly evolved into a formidable flood, engulfing one of the nation's most vital agricultural regions. Initially covering 30 square miles, the lake expanded to 50 square miles and beyond. As summer advanced, Tulare Lake now encompasses approximately 168 square miles. It is surrounded by thousands of acres of clay soil and lacks a natural outlet, making it best observed via satellite technology. The ongoing developments indicate the potential for continued flooding as the Sierra Nevada snowpack begins to melt in the months ahead. A recent snow survey conducted by the California Department of Water Resources revealed the significant flood risks posed by this year's extensive and widespread snowpack, particularly in the San Joaquin Valley. This emphasizes the critical role played by the Sierra Nevada mountain's remarkable snowpack in driving these flooding events. As evidence of this, snow banks have reached unprecedented levels in recent months due to powerful storms, soaring to an astonishing 257% above the seasonal average and 247% higher than the typical peak observed on April 1. While the melting snowpack presents potential challenges, its benefits are being overshadowed as California grapples with the consequences. In response to the rapid expansion of Tulare Lake, water engineers have implemented various strategies to manage and redirect its waters. Although efforts are in place, models suggest that the lake's growth may have peaked. However, despite these interventions, the lake remains a persistent feature in California's agricultural landscape. The basin, fed by the Tulare, Kauai, and Kings Rivers, still holds around 2.5 million acre-feet of frozen snow water, which will gradually melt and contribute to the lake's size. This means the lake's dimensions will depend on the rate of snowmelt and the capacity to divert water elsewhere. Water from various sources is now being closely managed before reaching the lake, but ongoing flooding continues to present significant challenges for the region's agricultural sectors. To mitigate this impact, floodwaters are temporarily diverted across agricultural land, replenishing critical groundwater resources essential for drought resilience. Reservoirs play a key role in capturing excess water, with portions allocated for irrigation purposes. Other approaches include channeling water to infiltrate the soil, restoring depleted groundwater, and allowing some of the water to naturally evaporate. Notably, significant quantities of water from the Kern River are diverted through a canal to the California Aqueduct, bolstering water supplies for Los Angeles and surrounding cities. Though these solutions are temporary, they provide some relief. Local communities are preparing for potential floods during the upcoming summer and are taking measures to strengthen their defenses. The California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection's Incident Command Team is utilizing the dry weather to carry out crucial actions, including raising critical roadways like the route between Allensworth and Alport, areas already impacted by severe flooding. Residents are being provided with secure evacuation routes in case they are needed. Emergency responders are reinforcing levees and deploying portable barriers to manage water flows. In recent weeks, a collaborative effort between farmers and emergency workers has focused on fortifying levees to mitigate the impact of relentless atmospheric river storms, which continue to saturate the soil and swell the rivers. According to a researcher deeply involved in the crisis, the ongoing flooding represents a slow-moving natural disaster, and the existing infrastructure is ill-equipped to handle its magnitude, posing a substantial mitigation challenge. Nevertheless, California officials remain determined to combat the floods. However, traditional flood management methods, like sandbags, offer only limited relief. Given the overwhelming water volume in the Sierra, which surpasses the capacity of existing facilities, authorities recognize the difficulties in managing the situation. The limited options for removing water from the historic lakebed further complicate matters, potentially necessitating a heavy reliance on evaporation, canal diversion, and pumping. The costly nature of these mitigation efforts compounds the challenges, especially for affected residents, many of whom come from low-income communities. This highlights the severity of the situation for farm workers and rural communities in the Tulare Basin, where flooding threatens livelihoods and well-being. While the current flood may seem minor compared to the potential impact of the substantial snowpack, its implications remain concerning. The best hope lies in a cool, manageable summer that would allow for a gradual and controlled snowmelt process. Recognizing the need for collective action, Kings County residents have gathered for community meetings, expressing concern about the months ahead. While the extent and timing of potential floods remain uncertain, preparedness is crucial. Experts predict that the crisis in California's Tulare Basin will persist for months, underscoring the state's unpredictable weather patterns, which fluctuate between excessive rainfall and prolonged droughts. Although some issues remain unresolved, Authorities assert that the resurgence of Tulare Lake heralds a prolonged event that will significantly shape the region's landscape for the foreseeable future. As the initial chaos surrounding its re-emergence subsides, the lake is reclaiming its place as a colossal prehistoric body of water, a living testament to the dynamic forces of nature.